Hey everybody, I'm Paul Montone. I'm here with Vicky Jeffries Belton, Gretchen Gebhardt, and Greg Kaminski. We're here to share a strategy for building community that we presented on during Teaching Week 2024. Greg, would you mind talking a little bit about it?
Sure. This is a strategy. It's called Google Slides for sharing student introductions, or it can have many purposes, actually. I'm just going to share my screen here. This is part of the presentation we made for Teaching Week. And I just wanted to share this slide because it exemplifies how adding pictures can add so much to a person's identity. Yeah, we could have just put our names here, Greg, Vicky, Gretchen, Paul, but that's boring. We've got our background pictures, something unique to all of us in this picture. So that's makes it just fun and raises questions about what is happening in those pictures and so forth. So this is a technique that I use in my Reading 115 class, just adding a link here to Google Slides. I use this instead of a text introduction inside D2L. So it allows students to add pictures and they add descriptions about themselves and they actually have them write something in response to a question about the class. It puts the pictures in a place where every student can see them easily, can share something about, in this case, about me, the instructor, to get to know me a little bit better for the class, promotes community for the class in that way. And it's a tool to empower student voices. So students can use images to tell their story. It's really a powerful tool for communicating, going way beyond text. And I set up the introduction slide with directions, asking them to tell something unique about themselves, something they'd like to study in the future, and a key takeaway from a TED Talk they viewed earlier in the week. Here I'm showing you one sample slide that a student has shared about herself. Other students can go in and comment, write comments to get to know this student, ask questions. So it really promotes the community for that class. And I have shared these with permission. So for example, here's my slide. It can show students something about the instructor and something unique. There's a slide for every student in the class. I have removed the names as you see, but the students can share something about themselves. They often choose to share their pictures of pets, family, and so forth. It really inspires students to share something about themselves, about their family. So it's a real excellent device for building community in the class.
The first time you did this approach rather than using the discussion board in D2L, did you notice a difference?
Yes, students were lively. They jumped into the discussion. They liked seeing each other's pictures. They asked each other questions. Most of them went in and responded to the questions, so a conversation developed. So it was a real jump in the activity of the class, is what I would say. I should also add that this technique is based on a research methodology called photo voice. So I got the idea from a Quality Matters presentation, and where students or participants in research go around taking pictures of things that they're involved in the research and post them in slides.
It also sounds culturally responsive to invite students' lives into the class.
It is, yes, right. They enjoy sharing something authentic about themselves. I would also add that there are many ways to use this. I could ask my ESOL students to go out and take pictures of people doing something so they can go and post that and then write something in the present progressive tense. I can ask them to share pictures of a past trip and where they can practice writing in past tense. So different things they could be doing in an active way in the class. I think others have something to share. Who would like to go next?
Thanks, Greg. We have used Google Slides introductions in our multimodality training. Here's some examples of facilitator intros where we share pictures from our own lives, things we like to do, or things we want to share with others, along with a short bio about us and how what we do relates to the training. Here's Paul sharing some fun pictures, Halloween costume from a few years ago, Greg, familiar a shot from his introduction, and then of course Vicky sharing garden photos. So it's a really fun way to share with people in the training who we are, and then also get them to share about themselves. And we have had some folks who choose not to put pictures of themselves and just put pictures of their yard, or pets, or favorite animal. And that works too because it helps us get to know them regardless of if they're in the picture or not. So it's a really fun assignment and exercise with faculty too.
And to build on that, I think that Vicky has something to share about her slides she uses in the class. Vicky, you'd like to share something?
Sure, thank you, Greg. And I'm going to agree with Gretchen. This is a practice that I started after you introduced us to this. I had a great time creating my own slides in these trainings. So then I started to utilize it in my class. This has allowed me to put forth parts of myself that I really want to communicate to students. So the slides that I used in the training video included things I love, like a pet picture over here on the side, and then some plant pictures. But I also wanted to include some of the personal things that I wanted to convey. And we have a son that has graduated from PCC, and we are incredibly proud of that. And I want to convey to students that I am excited about their education at PCC, and it is something for them to be excited about.
Neat. Paul, what would you like to share?
I did something similar to Vicky. I tied it back to PCC, where I first started college. I think that's important for my students to know. I'm showing pictures from my life, being vulnerable in that way to say, I'm a real person too. Here's an example you can follow when you share your slides. I also like to share links to music. I ask students to share something in popular culture they're interested in right now. As I go through the slides, I can check out things that they're into and comment on those things as well. And another neat thing about the slides and having this kind of information about my students is when it comes time for conferencing, it's an easy reference point to refer to bring up something personal about their lives. The way to break the ice. I can ask them about their cat, see how their dog is doing, ask if they've gone on another hike or whatever it is. So it's a great way to get students to feel like I'm really trying to find out about them, and it helps personalize our exchange as well.
That is really fun, Paul. What you said reminded me that I'm going to bring my screen up here just 1 second. That I like to refer to the slides when I'm doing the grading as well for different assignments. I like to use video occasionally to students, but it's pretty boring just to look at a piece of paper. I like looking at the student's face, and it's easier if I can bring up their picture. It's more like I'm talking to the student, so that can be helpful when I'm offering feedback on the assignments, especially if I'm using video. I have a question for you. Do you see any downside to using Google Slides? Is there something that hasn't worked well?
One of the things that's come up is that students will accidentally resolve comments for others. But since I'm the one that created the slide deck, I have the ability to bring those back in. I can restore those.
I've had that happen.
Me too.
Luckily, it's pretty rare though. Hey, here's one drawback, that there's no direct connection to the gradebook. It's not a big deal because you can add a grade item for this. As you see, I've added here for my discussion 1. That's my grade item, but as you also see, it's not connected to the grade book. So it means manual grading for that assignment. I count that as for a point. And so that involves a little bit of tracking to make sure the student has participated and offered comments. So there's some tracking there, but I find it well worth it.
I do too, Greg. If there's ever a time to sit down and get acclimated to who's in your course, that's the best time at the beginning. You can sit down and look through them and take your time and get involved in the material.
Exactly. And wow, also the other nice thing about Google Slides is that you can at somebody in Google Slides. So you can put in at Paul Montone with the email address, and it's going to send a message right to their email as a reminder, hey, somebody posted a comment about your slide, or your instructor posted a comment about your slide. be sure to go and take a look at it.
Another possible drawback could be with students moving other people's slides around, maybe not sure how to use the tool to get started. It might be a good idea to create a short video that shows them how to get started. I actually have a video, so let me show you. So here's the course information module students encounter the first week of class. And if I scroll down, there's all the usual things that they need to know. And here's the link for them to access the Google Slides. And there's some instructions above that. So if I play the video, there's a couple of ways you can add images, and they're both fairly straightforward. So for example, I can go to this insert image icon and upload from my computer.
That is excellent, Paul. I need to redo my slides on my intro and add a video.
I agree. I feel like I need a video now too. I think that's a great idea.
Really
There
helpful.
are some students who are not familiar with the Google Slides as a tool, so it's a great way to take away that anxiety about using something new.
Well, Greg, thanks for sharing the strategy with us so that we could share it out with our colleagues at PCC.
Thank you. It's a great way to humanize the class and build community. So I hope that all of you will try it. There's a template you can start with if you'd like to in the Building Community page.